Good evening. How are we doing this evening? Just give me a few moments as we get set up, as always. I hope everyone's having a good Sunday, at least, or maybe for some of you that join, maybe it might even be Monday. Let me just get this set up. So we're almost there. So we we did have a stream a few days ago, so I'm not quite sure actually how much we're gonna have to talk about today. But yeah, let's see how we get on, and we'll see if we have any good questions or any interesting topics that we can talk about. Maybe we can cover some bits there, but I think we are pretty much there. One more thing I need to check. Okay, let's kick off. So yeah, good evening. Welcome to this evening's stream. We will go into some of the hellos in just a few moments, but I'm going to kick off with some video talk. So let's move me in the right area so I can be seen. But yeah, it's been a busy week for videos this week. At least there's been some videos that have come about. So we've had a unified network configuration from start to finish. So this is something I said I'd release a little while ago, but there was a few things that I wanted to add in there, and it's a fairly lengthy tutorial, an hour and 47 minutes. So there's a reasonable amount of stuff that we cover within this. So if you get stuck or anything in there, there's quite a bit from things like networks to Wi-Fi to guest. Actually, I don't think we cover guest too much in details, but the firewall configuration is obviously the biggest one that takes the longest time. So go and check that out. We have Network 10.1. So if you want to know, there's a new software release that came out. That's something that was released. We'll go through that and have a little chat about that shortly. And then I did a video around Unified Design Center. So this is something that I've covered a few times in a live stream, I think, but I don't think I've actually ever made a video on it. So yeah, this is going through step by step how it works, what's in there, what needs to be done, etc., etc. So if you ever want to plan out your Unified network, or you just want to know, making sure what sort of Wi-Fi coverage you're going to get, you can go and watch this and have a little step by step tutorial about how everything gets set up within that. So yeah, I mean, you can have a little look at that if you wish to do so. So how many of us do we have this evening? So we have nearly 20 of you already, and there's only 3 likes. So we can start by hitting that like button at least. Let's get that one going a little bit further. So there's a couple of hellos. So let's go to the right screen that I need. Right, here we go. Oh, there we go. Let's get to the right one first, shall we? So, good evening, Vasil. How you doing? I haven't seen you travel for a little while yet. Are you off? Have you got any travels coming up, or have you just come back from some travels? Hello, hello. It's me, XT. Hello from Texas. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Greg. Hello. Gabin. Yeah, I'm not even gonna attempt to butcher your name, so I apologize. That's not something I'm going to attempt to do. Good question here. This is what. Hold on 1 second. I'm getting a little bit thrown off because I have like 3 screens of me on the screen, and yeah, that's not going to go down well anyway. So I have a question of which NVR do I use? That's a good question. So at the moment, I'm using my UDM Pro Max. I may switch off to an additional NVR at the moment. The reason I've never really had a need for a separate NVR, and I'm happy with everything that is set up on all in one system. I may switch to a different NVR at some point, but for now, yeah, it's just a UDM Pro Max that I have running that has the NVR set up on it. Is there a particular reason you were asking that question, or you were just curious? Good evening, John. How you doing? So still awaiting the release of 10.1 here. Excited to see if the Starlink stats work on my WAN 2 in my setup. Yeah, so that actually looks quite interesting. Like I said, we'll go over, I'm just going to quickly pull it up. We'll go over 10.1 and what some of the new updates are within there. There was a lot around Wi-Fi. So there's some good stuff in there, and there's, yeah, like you mentioned, there's some Starlink stuff in there as well. So we'll have a look at that in a few moments. Hello from Romania. Good evening. I'm asking about the NVR because I've read its operating temperature max is 42°, but when I check in the console, mine is about 52. I think you should be fine at that sort of temperature. I mean, which NVR you're running? I'm assuming it's just the UNVR, the 1U one. We'll have a look at that in a second. So let me just pull that up. So store.ur.com. Hello, Sysat. Is that your name? Sysat. I think that's how you pronounce your name. Hello, good evening. How you doing? Welcome to the stream. So the 1U NVR, let's have a little look. I'm sure Ubiquiti's hardware generally may run a little bit warmer than that, but the operating temperatures generally, the ambient operating temperatures are generally what sort of room temperature it can stay in and what it can sit in. Just because the internals are showing something slightly higher doesn't necessarily mean that that's the operating temperature of the outside. That's probably just what's going on the inside. So I wouldn't really be too concerned about that at this point. But yeah, I mean, if you find it getting slightly warmer, then maybe it's something you might want to check out the CPU usage, check out the RAM usage to see what's happening there, basically. Yep. Okay, regular 1U. Good evening from the beautiful city of Birmingham. Yes, don't we love? I was actually in that area yesterday. We what did I do yesterday? I think we went to the Sea Life Centre yesterday. So yeah, that was my that was my trip into Birmingham yesterday. So yeah, let's have a quick look here. So we've had a few. I'm just checking out on what releases. I know we had 10.1, but I'm just seeing if there was any other major releases. I mean, there was a Unify OS update of 5.0.12. We can take a look at those. Okay, sorry, bear with me. I'm just having a quick look to see if there is anything of interest that we can cover. No, I think that's it. So we have, what do we have? So network 10.1.4, that's just an update. So the main release was, I think, 10.1.83, I think it was, if I can find it. Still in release candidate. So for those of you that are wanting to use this, yeah, it's still in release candidate. So if you're waiting for the official version, we're not quite there just yet. So this was the release of 10.1.83. So this right here, we have, yeah, enhances high availability, system logging, new connectivity insights, and includes improvement bug fixes. So this is a new little roaming tool that they've got, which shows you if you're having issues with people dropping off the network or you're not quite sure what's happening when they're roaming between APs. This gives you a slightly better insight as to what's going on. So this roaming visual right here will show you all your APs, and it will show your device that you are walking through your AP setup, and you can have a little look and see where it's dropping. And there's a filter on the left hand side for roaming or failed roaming, or roaming or failed connections, and you can narrow it down to the source as well. So if you're looking for a specific unit or a specific device that you're looking at, you can go and narrow those down. If you are also, there's vendor specific. So if you are actually trying to troubleshoot something via for a specific vendor, you can go and filter it by that and see what's happening overall with most of the devices if you're trying to narrow something down when you're troubleshooting something. I feel like I've said something quite a bit, but you get the point of how something like that would work. So I think that was a really cool feature that they've added in, which makes it a lot easier. We have an improved high availability setup experience. So a lot of you might have noticed this if you have updated. There's a new there's a new setting on the left hand side, or there's a new tab on the left hand side when you go into settings, and that is the high availability. So you can set up VRRP, MC lag, or even your stacking units, which aren't currently available just yet. We have some improved system logs. So a lot of up until now is when things happened, you weren't really sure who's done it or what changes have been made. But now you can see into this and you can drill down. There's an audit feature on the right hand side. This is just the general log, but there's actually an audit log as well, which isn't actually on here, but I'll show it in my video anyway if you want to take a look at that. That basically shows you what changes were made, who made them, and what those changes are. So if you ever needed to revert or you needed it for auditing purposes, you have that there. So some really good features, and there's a whole bunch of improvements, which I'm not going to go through. There's a few cosmetic changes. There's a few maybe wording changes, and this is the Starlink one that we mentioned about earlier. So was it this one? Add a star. Yeah, so they've added the Starlink status and obstruction details. I think they show it in their video what that looks like. They haven't got a screenshot on here. But if I quickly go to their video. Latest 10.1. So, well, let's skip the adverts first. You can all enjoy adverts with me. But yeah, I'm sure they had it on here. So here's the VRRP that they speak about. This is the Wi-Fi doctor. How can I forget about that? So there's now something called a Wi-Fi doctor on here, which optimizes your access points. So it will tell you if there's any firmware updates, what your 5 to 6 gigahertz interroaming is like, and if there's any optimized wired AP. So if, for example, something's running on 2.5 gig and it needs to be running on 10 gig, it will tell you stuff about that. And also it doesn't show it on here, but there's actually stuff around IoT as well when you have IoT devices on your network. This is the Wi-Fi doctor. So yeah, it kind of drills down and shows you what the updates are here. And then this is the Starlink stuff. So it shows you the obstructions and it shows you the dish latency and what the firmware usage is. So yeah, I think there's some good stuff in there. This is the audit log. Could have just gone through this video, really. It kind of shows you everything in here. But anyway, yeah, so it shows you who's accessed it. If there's any changes made, look. It shows just here config modified network application made a change to the switch port profile. So yeah, worth checking that out. There's some really cool features in here, and obviously yeah, you've got the Unify Academy in there too. So yeah, there's some cool features in 10.1. So definitely worth a good upgrade, I think. Let's go back and have a look here. No worries. That's all good. I have a Cloud Key Gen 2 for my home network. I'm going to go for the G6 Doorbell Pro soon, so the G6 Pro entry. Looking at cameras, as I've been running Nest CCTV, can I upgrade just to an NVR? Do I need to get rid of the Cloud Key? You can do either or, really. I mean, you can upgrade to an NVR, so you can add an NVR into your stack. You just don't run Protect on the Cloud Key, so you can just turn that off on there and just run it off the NVR. But the Cloud Key is, yeah, if you have it for your home network, then you would just have to run network off the Cloud Key. If you want to run Protect on a different instance, or if you even want to run it on 2, you can do. I don't know why you would want to do that in a home setup, but you know, stranger things have happened. So if you want some cameras on one on the Cloud Key and some cameras on the NVR, you can do that too. But yeah, if you're running Unify Network, you won't be able to get rid of your Cloud Key, unfortunately. And go for a combine, just looking for the cheapest option. So, I mean, you could look to update. You could look to update your Unify gateway if you have something like that. But yeah, it's entirely up to you. So you can add an NVR and then you would have 2 devices, or you could upgrade your gateway, which will then give you an all-in-one unit if that's something you're looking for. I have two Unify NVR Pros stacked, 49 to 53 cameras. Last summer I unstacked the two devices, and this setup is no longer recommended by Unify. Now I have a few cameras that can't be removed. Any ideas? As in, it can't be removed from the console, or is it showing as offline, or what is that? So you could always log into the camera directly using the IP. And then you can use the recovery code. So I think UBNT is the username, and then the recovery code is the password, and you can log in that way. You can factory reset the camera from there if you need to. So that's one thing you could do. But yeah, I'd need to know obviously what the state of those cameras are. Can you help me with the Unify external portal? I need to add my local API documentation. Can you help me with a Unify external portal server? What specifically do you need help with on that? Are you looking to set up an external, like the guest portal, and you're looking to do some for it? Like I'm not quite understanding the link between the portal and the API documentation. There was one website. I don't know if developer.ui.com. So this is for. I don't know if you're asking specifically for the Unify API documentation, but there is obviously developer.ui.com where it has the Unify API stuff that's there. You can have a little look at that if you want. There's a Unify network section in there. There's a protect section. So it really depends on what you're looking for. I didn't quite follow where you were going with the question. Glass break detector was delayed till March. Oh, really interesting. I thought that was an interesting. So we saw an update the other day. I think it was on the Unified Protect app. I'm sure I saw it online, which said added support for the glass break sensor. So I was kind of hoping that was going to come soon, but I guess not. Was it the other day? Did I see something like that? Let me have a look. Let's have a look if it's in the official releases. Protect. That's the Unified Protect application. I'm sure it was an iOS app. Maybe not. Maybe I'm dreaming. Who knows? Protect. iOS 3.2.0. Oh, it's not there. Can't see it. Maybe I'm making it up in my head. Who knows? Anyway. If I go to store.ui.com, let's have a look at the glass break. It does say March 2026. Interesting. So there is two things that is due out. That is due out this month. Well, supposed to be due out this month, but we'll see where that goes. So there's the AI multi-sensor. So that is this device. Oh, that was the wrong camera. There is this device right here. So this is the AI multi-sensor 4. So I saw this at the UWC, and it looks like a decent camera. So I'm hoping for some good things from this. So this has 4 independent lenses in this. And the other thing that should be arriving this month is this one. So this is the Dream Router 5G Max. So yeah, this is something I'm hoping is going to get released this month. This is a very interesting point. What YouTube content creator streamer doesn't pay for YouTube Premium? That would be me. Actually, to be fair, I did have it for a few months. I had it for a few months a little while back because it was just getting really annoying, the ads. YouTube just seemed to be increasing the amount of ads that they have in their videos, which is frustrating for me, as I'm sure it is as much as it is for you as well. So I did have it for a few months, but yeah, I think sometimes I can't justify it. So at this point, it is not on my list, and a few people have pointed me to other browsers, which I'm not recommending in any way, shape, or form. But yeah, I mean, yeah, they become a little bit more annoying. But anyway, making good, short, effective presentation videos is something Ubiquiti can't be faulted for. It's great. Yeah, I mean, they definitely have a lot of stuff in. I mean, their animations are really good. I think there's a lot of work that goes on. A lot of work that probably goes into them for sure. So they always are. They cover the things within a few minutes, and then that's where I guess we or me jump in and we start going into a bit more detail where we need to. Worked on Juniper Mist, Cisco Meraki, currently on FortiGate. Functions are similar, just different. Yeah, well, I guess the fundamentals of Unify network, the fundamentals of networking don't change, right? It just depends on which manufacturer you're using. Some will have more features than the others. Some will be priced different. Some will look different. Some will just. A lot of people tend to fall into different vendors and they kind of stay in those areas. But yeah, I mean, fundamentally, networking is all the same under the hood. It's just how the systems handle it slightly differently. Portals. Okay, yeah, that was a follow-up question to the other one. Not sure about that one. No problem, Nicholas. No problem. Are the Unify cameras PoE? It depends. Some of them are Wi-Fi, some of them are PoE. If we have a quick look, I think there's only a handful of cameras which are just Wi-Fi. And those cameras will be the instant cameras. So why can I not find the instant cameras? Am I going crazy? Or am I on the wrong filter? G6 instant. That's definitely there. But anyway, yeah, the G6, the G6, the G4. I don't think they do the G3 anymore. Those instant cameras are Wi-Fi. The rest of them are PoE, PoE Plus, and some are even PoE Plus Plus. So yeah, there's a variety of cameras. It's worth checking out before you buy them to see what it is. So just a quick example. We have the G6 180, for example. That's PoE Plus. The G6 is PoE. The G6 Pro is PoE. There is, what else have we got? So yeah, there's a whole host. You can click on them and see what power requirements they have. G6 doorbell paired with the intercom viewer. How's the chime loudness on the intercom viewer? The chime is, it's not, well, yeah, it's not the loudest chime in the world. It's not going to be as loud as a mechanical doorbell. I'll tell you that much. The sound on the intercom viewer is actually relatively quite loud. I haven't done a side-by-side comparison to see what's louder and what's not. But yeah, even the intercom viewers, it's quite loud. You'll definitely hear it in the next room. You probably won't hear it from one side of the house to the other. But yeah, that's all I can say about that one. Maybe I can put a quick short together in terms of what the sounds are between them. Can you isolate the cameras to a separate VLAN if they're recording to a cloud gateway? I mean, the gateway is still there, so yes, you can. I don't see why it's not. I mean, definitely you can do that with the Ubiquiti ones. The third-party OMVIF cameras, I'm not sure. I've kept mine on the same VLAN for now, but I'm not sure if you're able to do that yet. I bought a standard UMVR, and apparently you can't get a second one to increase its capacity. Standard UMVR. Okay. According to the chat with Unify, will the two work separately with two apps? Do you have any information? So the UNVR is not stackable. You are correct. So they would work as two standalone units. It would be within the same Protect app, but it wouldn't be. it wouldn't be within the same console. So you'd have to select the two different consoles within the app. Now, that being said, you can use something like Vantage Point, which is, I think, just come to the mobile app, I believe. Don't quote me on it because I haven't tested it. And what Vantage Point allows you to do, just trying to find it 1 second. But yeah, basically what Vantage Point allows you to do is merge two sets of NVRs with their cameras. So if I show you this here, we have Unified Vantage Point, and you can view and manage up to 5 NVRs at the same time. So you can basically combine all the cameras together and you can have them in one view basically. So whereas it may not be stackable, you might be able to have two separate consoles, but then you make out a Unified Vantage Point to be able to connect them together basically and have it as a single view. So I will pop this in the chat window if you want to know how to set this up, and hopefully that will be useful for you. If I can find the right window. I have too many windows open. Here we go. Yeah, you can take a look at that. That has all the details in there on how to set up Vantage Point. Is it possible to fully isolate cameras to a VLAN if they're recorded? I think I just answered this, but no, you wouldn't require a separate NVR. You can do it within the same cloud gateway, because technically, don't forget, every subnet you make, you still have a default gateway. So if you had 10.10.10.1, for example, as one gateway as your main unified gateway, you could do 10.20.10.1. That would be your VLAN for your cameras. But you would still have your gateway, so you could point them back to the right direction. Maybe I'll do a video on something like that. I haven't fully tested it, setting it up on a separate VLAN just yet, but it's something I am planning to do. So yeah, we can take a look at that. What have we got next? So I'm just checking if there's anything else. I know there's still some questions. So there's 40 of you and 16 likes. I know we can definitely do more likes. I know for sure we can. What's the next question? So how come the UDM series only has 2 high-speed ports on the Pro Max and the SE? I think this sort of device has been released quite a while ago. So definitely the UDM Pro has been around for a long time. And by long time, I mean definitely more than 5 years, or maybe even 5 years or so. So it's definitely been around for a while. The other devices were coming around as the 2.5 gigabit was kind of picking up traction. There was a little bit of 10 gig. It's only, I would say, in the last 12, 24 months, Unify has really picked up on the 2.5, 5, and 10 gigabit connectivity, which is why you've seen so many more of the new devices with that. But we haven't seen anything. We haven't seen anything new in terms of an update of those two devices. We're hoping to see something, or I'm hoping we'll see something soon. I don't know when that will be, what that looks like, or what it's going to be. But I'm hoping they do decide to update those UDM series at some point. We will see what happens on February 28th. Yeah, we will indeed. We will indeed. Yes, the RAM shortage is not fun. I guess we did kind of cover this previously, but for anybody, I think we covered this last week. So for anybody that doesn't know, that's not realized yet, the G6 Pro entry has been delayed. Sorry. And if I zoom in a little bit here, so we can see, due to the constraints on DDR memory configuration unique to the G6 Pro entry, the launch is delayed while we requalify an alternative vendor. So availability for this is currently estimated to be March. And excuse me, that was not very nice. But yeah, that's assuming that they're going to be able to find a suitable vendor. Hopefully they've already qualified one and they've already found one, and they're going through the process that they need to go through. So let's hope we see that sometime in March, and let's hope it's early March and not the end of March. Also, last time you said the UTR has Wi-Fi Wave 2. Does it have MU MIMO? Let's have a look at the specs. Unify.ui.com. Nope. Store. Actually, I'm already on the website. What am I doing? So Unify Travel. Unify Travel Router. Technical. It doesn't say if it. I haven't, like I said, I haven't checked fully if it has MU-MIMO, but it does. It just says 2x2 in terms of the MIMO. So yeah, I would have to check that one, or unless someone else can clarify in the comments, then yeah, feel free to do so. Good evening, AS Networking. How are you doing? Can you run 10 gigabit speed on Cat6 RJ45 Keystone coupler? If a short distance, home use under 25 meters, remember everything. I missed this, Cat6A. This is actually a very good question because I'm sort of going through the same conundrum at the moment. I am putting up a new rack. So I have a new 12U rack from the 12U rack from Ubiquiti, and my cables aren't quite long enough. So I actually want to extend out those cables, but I'm deciding to whether to use a coupler like you are looking at, or whether to get a punch down tool to connect them between them. So I think 25 meter run, I don't think you're going to have a massive issue. I think you're going to be fairly okay there. But yeah, I think as long as your Keystone coupler is rated, I think you should be fine, even if it is a short distance. It's a shame you can't change so there is a volume control on the intercom viewer. There is a ring volume that you can you can do some adjustment with that. So that is on there. I don't actually have mine powered up at the moment, otherwise I'd show you. But yes, you can. Yes, you can. I have that sort of set up. My cams are also not connected to the internet, but get updates from the cloud key. Yep, that would be. I think that's why it would be a good video, so we can show the firewall rulings behind it. Hello, Sergeant Phil. I got the AI port and third-party cameras Reolink. However, I cannot get the manual PTZ to work on the Unify Protect app. Should it work? Will it ever work? The ONVIF stuff is very. It's not a grey area, but it's a bit of a tough one because I don't think Ubiquiti fully outline everything they support in terms of ONVIF. So there's some cameras that work, some cameras that don't. I've recently had an issue where one of my cameras has stopped working with the ONVIF functionality. I haven't looked into why that is. I really should. But yeah, I haven't looked into why that is, but there is no specific list. If you have any concerns and you feel like it should be working, just trying to bring up anything. Just trying to check. So obviously out of the box it says it's not supported, but I've not tested a third-party camera with the ONVIF functionality to see if that does work. If I was you, I would probably just log the ticket with Ubiquiti or post in their forums and see what they have to say. I'm about to put in a new Unify I'm about to put in the new Wi-Fi in the hotel, and thinking about either Fortinet or Unify. Do you have any experience with Fortinet? No, and Fortinet is not something I have used or played around with too much. I've heard a lot about them, but yeah, it's entirely up to you. If it was me in your place, I know which way I would be going. I'd be pushing more towards Unify. But yeah, it's I guess that decision is down to you whether you feel you can trust Ubiquiti as a vendor. For me, yeah, I'm happy with the way the functionality of Unify and the way it is. Yes, I regret it now. It's a shame there isn't enough information about Unify products, from a software perspective. For example, the siren only lasts 30 seconds max, but it's not mentioned anywhere. Yeah, I mean, that's some instances, I guess. I mean, they don't rely on us to give you the additional information. We get them to share our experiences with you. But yeah, I mean, that's where some of the stuff that we can highlight, or yeah, we would do that for you basically. Good afternoon, Sean. Hello from California. Hello. Charlie's Beats. Hello. Good afternoon, or good evening, I should say, where I am. I'm just assuming that you're in the States. You probably aren't, but yeah, I'm just assuming that. Maybe a silly question, but on the G6 entry, do they still work like a doorbell? As in, will I get a notification on a mobile app when someone presses the button? Yes, you will. Just like someone presses the button on the app, and I think I don't know, I think it's still in early access, so I'm not going to say too much, but yeah. But yes, to answer your question, if you press the doorbell button, it does work like a doorbell. Just spent all weekend feeding Ethernet cables all over my house, and the new G6 turret cams are hard work but worth it. Yeah, for sure. It's running Ethernet is never easy, and it's never. Well, I wouldn't say it's not fun, but it's definitely hard work. Actually, yeah, no, it's not fun either. I'm not going to try and say it is fun when it's not, but yes, it's not the most fun. That's for sure. But yeah, once it's done, it's done. So hopefully you don't come across any issues. To be honest with you, a lot of people are waiting for the Pro entry, unless you need the screen and the extra access options that G6. Yeah, I fully agree with what you're saying. I've got the G6 entry up at the moment, and I'm perfectly happy with it. The only reason I would push to the G6 Pro entry is because I'm hoping I will get sent one to do a video on. So yeah, that's one of the reasons I would upgrade. Unless, obviously, I'm not gonna rule it out completely. I mean, if we get the camera and we say, okay, the image quality is a lot better, then obviously that's something that I will definitely be taking into consideration. But for now, as it stands, I'm quite happy with the G6 entry. Yes, me too. Just waiting for a smart lock for normal doors without electric cables, magnets. Just a battery and a safety key lock. Okay, cool, fair enough. I'm hoping that we do. I don't know if they will, but I'm kind of hoping if we do see something from Ubiquiti in the lock space. I know they sort of stepped into that market very ages ago, where it just got into the early access program, but it didn't make it any further. But yeah, I'm really hoping that we see something from them. Is it me or? Okay, I'm sure I read this one, but anyway, it's probably my software that's duplicating it. With Cat 6a, you are fine for 10 gigabits. You can do it even with Cat 5 at short distances. Yeah, I mean that's my fault. I think even in my house, my longest one's probably about 30 to 40 meters, maybe. So if I add in a couple meters just to obviously make it look nice and tidy in the rack, I don't think that's an issue. I think a lot of people on the internet may disagree, but hey, yeah, it's if I still get 10 gig through it, I don't think there's an issue. Sorry, I misspoke. I meant to say change the ringtone or set personalized one. Yeah, unfortunately, that's. Ooh, actually, I don't think I've ever tried. But yeah, I don't think you can. I know you can on the doorbell, but I don't know about the intercom viewer because I don't think I've ever tried. How can you make a custom view on the viewport? It seems to just display all the cameras on the UMVR rather than. So I, I can't show you on my screen, unfortunately. Maybe I can do a video on it one day. But you would basically pretty much just create a view that you want to see. So you would create a custom view at the bottom. And then when you click on that view, when you go to the AI port, when you go to the viewport and you click on the settings, there's an option to say what display you want. You click on that and click the drop down, and it will give you the different views that you can display on the viewport. If I have that correctly, I'm sure that's how you do it. Unify. I say this. I'm just going to quickly. Just going to quickly validate that before I say that is the case. Viewport. Oh, it's not even in the settings. It's just, when you click on the viewport, it says select multi-view. And then on that drop down, will show you all the different views that you've created. But it needs to be a view that you have created, I believe, unless someone else has given you access to that view. So, keep that one in mind. But as long as you've created the view, you can send that to the viewport that way. What do you think of the hard evidence with them violating sanctions to help Russia? I mean, it's one of those things. This isn't. I think I said this last week on my stream as well. I don't comment on political stuff generally, but I think if you open up and have a little look further into the country, I want you to show me what manufacturers don't end up there. But I won't say too much more on this, just because it doesn't really help that the company that's written the article has shorted the Ubiquiti stock as well. So it doesn't put them in a good light when you're reporting something and you already shorted their stock. So, but that's all I'm going to say on it for now. Recently, I had an issue with adopting new APs to my hotel and got a notification saying you can't add more than 4 SSIDs in it. No, this is something that's been around for quite a while. You can only add 4 bands on a certain SSID. You can only have 4 SSIDs on certain bands. That is correct, which is why sometimes people tend to split out the IoT network just using 2.4 gigahertz, and then they generally use their house stuff using 5 and 6 gigahertz. So I mean it's one of those things. Unfortunately, that's just the limitation that's there. It's really thanks to your videos that we learned about the limitations and discovered features. I mean, I try and go in, if time permits, as much that I can find in there. But I show you what's there and what you can do. I don't dive into too much about, we should have this, or this should be there, or this should be there. I kind of show you what the functionality is there. And then naturally, you're going to have questions like this, like, does it do this, or can it do this? And that's where we can answer the questions in the comments for you. Okay. There you go. AS Networking has kindly corrected me. So it is the meshing. So you can do up to 8, but and I agree with what you're saying. You definitely want to avoid meshing in a hotel, because you're going to get someone that's just going to plug in an AP somewhere, and you're going to have lots of fun. How is the status with the UNAS 2? Worth buying one over the Synology for backing up data? Can it back up iPhone or Android data? Back up an iPhone or Android, sorry. So I think I don't have a UNAS. I don't have any of the new UNAS lineups. I only have the UNAS Pro, so I don't have the 2 or the 8. I was kind of hoping for the 4 coming at some point, but it doesn't look like that is. I think that's changed to March now, so let's hope we see that in March as well. So it's going to be a busy month in March, that's for sure. But in terms of just backing up data, I think the devices generally are quite solid. I mean, I back up my content data to it, and I think it's perfectly fine. There was a new software update, and I think it's still in beta at the moment, I think, which allows you to back up your photos from your iPhone. Yeah, it allows you to back up your photos from your iPhone. When is that coming about? I'm not quite sure, but I know that was a software release I saw a little while ago. Whether it's still in early access or not, maybe someone else can answer that question, because I don't, unfortunately, remember as much as I would love to remember every single software release and what's included within them. I don't think, yeah, I don't think I remember it. Sorry, I was just having a look to see if I could see it, but I realized I don't have the early access stuff up. I would like it if one day we could add information to a viewport. For example, the number of people detected and the number of line crossings. Yeah, I mean, it'd be good if we could start having more overlay information. That would be quite cool. I know they have like the count and stuff now that you can have in Alarm Manager, so it will pick stuff up. So yeah, it would be quite useful. Okay, thanks. I'll create a new view. Yeah, no worries. UCG Fiber, UNVR, 1 UDM Pro Max for about 12 G5 Turret Ultras. I mean, and I've seen AS Networking's response to this. So it just depends on how much load you're going to be putting on that gateway. 12 cameras is it's a reasonable amount. It's a decent amount. I think you could get away with a UDM Pro Max. That's just my personal opinion. Especially running at 2K. Let me just have a look at the gateways. Sorry, excuse me. The Pro Max. A Pro Max can do 25 2K cameras. So you're sort of hitting that at 50%. And if you want to dive a little bit deeper, they have a calculated capacity. So you have the UDM Pro Max. You can jump into here. You can choose whatever gateway you want. And you can say, okay, I'm going to have 10 APs, I'm going to have VPN, I'm going to have security ad blocking, QoS, and this is assuming 10 clients per AP. We're going to have protect, so the 2K cameras. If you're going to put the 4K cameras, then you might want to look at something else. So that's 12, so you can see if you're adding talker access. And your compute resource, obviously, you don't want to be running it at 70, 80, 90% constantly, or 80, 90, or close to 100% constantly. So that's the 2K cameras. If you went with 4K cameras, you can see that pushes up to the 72% mark. So if you go with the G6s, I would probably say get yourself a separate unit. So a separate UNVR. But if you're just using the 2K ones, I think you can get away with the UDM Pro Max. But that's me saying get away with. If you want something completely separate, yeah. I mean, if we look at the UNVR, if we have 12 cameras on there, you're good. If we have 12 4K cameras on there, you're good. And it's keeping your networking completely away from it, so you're not hindering it. So although that doesn't really give you your answer, hopefully it kind of gives you an understanding of the kind of choice that you can make and which way you want to go. Thanks for the knowledge you give. No worries. Welcome. Question: do I need anything else other than a Unify UDR7 to use the Unify all-in-one sensor? You would need a Superlink device, because the UDR7 doesn't have Bluetooth in it. You would need the Superlink device, which I think I'm still on the right page. Nope, there we go. So Superlink, which would be the Superlink gateway. So you would need to get yourself one of these. And I can pop a link to one of these in the description or in the comments, not the description. The only thing I would say is if you would be so kind to use my affiliate link, if you want. You don't have to. So let me pop this in. This is the Superlink gateway. There we go. So that's the Superlink gateway. So yeah. Where are we? Oh wow, it's 10 to 9 already. Okay, so I'm going to stick around for a short while, maybe another 5 or 10 minutes or so, and then I'm going to call it a day there. So I realize there's still a few questions, so I'll try and get to them as quick as I can. If not, I'll be back again at some point next week. So yeah. 12 cameras better to a dedicated UNVR. Yeah, so I gave my reasonings. I sort of showed you what's going on there. Ultimately, if you're happy to keep them completely separate, then yeah, I mean, go with a dedicated UNVR. At least you know you've got two separate systems, which they still work in harmony together, but they're two separate physical devices. Viewpoint is pointless at home. It's only the piece of unified gear that I regret buying. Using the Protect app on a smart TV is much better. So disappointed with that purchase. Yeah, I guess it has its use cases. Really depends what you're after. Some people prefer that device. Some people want to put an Apple TV. Some people use a smart TV. It really depends what works for you. With the new Unified VPN, can the client side exit to the internet through the server side? So you want to route them through your VPN. I'm going to say yes. I'm pretty sure. I'm just having a mind blank at this point. Yes, you can. Yes. I'm sure you can. I'm having a complete mind blank at the moment. So yeah, I'm pretty sure you can. Sorry, Joe. I am having a complete mind blank on that one. Please message me after, and I'll confirm that one for you. I'm sure the answer is yes, but anyway. Thanks for your help. No worries. Yeah, since the TV Protect app came out, it's completely different. But for a business, not giving out access codes is important, so viewport is necessary. Yeah, fully agree with that. Hi Monty, is there? I feel like I've missed something. Oh, this one. Sorry, Shutseeds, I missed your question. Are you coming to the World Tour UK? Yes, I am based in the UK, but I will be coming to the UK UWC. So if you haven't already, I'm not going to the one in, well, unless Ubiquiti want to be ever so kind and pay for me to go. I'm not going to the one in Germany, in Munich, and I'm not going to the one in Paris. Although, it won't be happening. It's one after another. So I feel for the Ubiquiti guys doing one after another. But if you haven't signed up yet, these are the 3 dates: 21st April, 22nd April, and 23rd of April. First one in the UK, then we go to France, then we go to Germany. So yes, get yourself signed up, get registered if you haven't already. It's a fun day out. It's good to meet people, and you get to see the Ubiquiti gear hands on. And yeah, if you want to come and say hello to me, you're welcome to do so as well. I am hoping to get to the US one if they do one in the US this year. But yeah, I don't know what date that looks like just yet and where the location is. So given the last 2 years have been in Miami, dare I say the third one might be, but who knows? I just noticed the other day that you can add the Apply Unify Adblock button to WireGuard and the one-click VPN. Allowed me to retire my Pi-hole. Okay, great. Yeah, those functionalities are there. Hey, Jabberwocky, happy Sunday. Hope you're well. Haven't played around with the modem auto reset in the PDU. Actually, you know what? I realized as I skipped another question. As I skip back to that question, I skipped another question. Viewport, VPN, Protect app. It's this one. Sorry, NetRanger. So, is the European version of the PDU? Is there a European version of the PDU Pro unit? Any suggestions regarding managing 1U or 2U PDUs? this is something I think a lot of people are not annoyed with, but I mean, they released it in the US and it is available in the US. I really wish they would release it in the EU or at least the UK version as well. That would be really good. The fact that we've seen the one U the 1U UPSs and the 2U UPSs. Not the 1U, sorry, the 2U UPSs and the 1U tower, not even 1U, what am I saying? The tower UPS. You can tell it's been a long day, right? That we're seeing the tower UPS. I'm hoping we may see something in terms of a PDU, but I know they're sort of going to release the Pro and the Enterprise versions of the UPSs, so I don't know what those look like yet and whether there will be the functionality integrated into something like that. So I guess we have to kind of wait and see. But no, there isn't one available at this point. Although I don't know if the US one, if you can actually order it and get it somehow. I think from what I've read online, I think Ubiquiti block shipping and reshipping. But if I go to store.ui.com, PDU Pro, technical. And I was wondering if it actually worked at two. I'm sure I saw someone take a picture of using this in the UK, in the EU, and they said it works, but it only shows 125 AC. So I'm guessing not. All right, did I miss any others? Thank you, and I will. No worries. In Unify network on a professional switch, they've mentioned Pro AV next to restrict. Activate the port. What is that? So there is some. The Pro AV stuff is basically the ultra low latency required for some of the Pro AV stuff. I guess the audio visual stuff. So they need the low latency, and there's some stuff in the background that sort of happens under the hood, and this kind of sets the QoS on the port, I guess. And I use that in terms because it just does it under the hood, which basically gives it the priority to make sure it gets to its point that it needs to the quickest before anything else. So, and I think the Pro AV stuff, I don't know. I need to check on my Switch actually. 1 second. Oh, it's asking me to log in. That's annoying. Why am I not logged in? And then it'll ask me to use my passkey. So I'm just going to check my Switch. 1 second. That's been a pain. Right, bear with me. This has been a. Now I have to go through the authenticator. Just want to make sure I'm giving you all the right information. Home devices. Yeah, so it's pretty much what I said there. So automatically matches the latency for the sensitive audio and video traffic, and then you can choose the ones that are there. So Dante, QSys, NDI, Shaw, AES67, Crestron. So everything that you sort of need, that's something you can get set up there. Sorry about that. Like that took me a few minutes longer than I wanted it to. Do you think the U7 outdoor used indoors would provide better coverage inside the house? I think it's going to provide the same amount of coverage in terms of whether you use it outdoor or indoor. It's just indoor you have some obstructions in the way. Um, yeah, I'm struggling to kind of construct an answer for this. So yes, you can. You can use it indoors. Whether it will give you better coverage than the other Wi-Fi access points, I couldn't be for sure, because you do kind of have a directional antenna in there that you can use if that's what you want to use, and you have the omnidirectional antennas. So yes, it's kind of a yes no scenario. There's Wi-Fi is very one of those is very question dependent. So there's probably more thought behind it before I could turn around and say yes, that's definitely going to give you a better coverage. Last week, a YouTuber added a thermal camera into Unify Protect. Interest. Yeah, I think I saw this video. And it was interesting, but I don't think they got it working natively as such. Um, I just looked on the Unify site and it does support Bluetooth. So the Bluetooth is for, it's not the Bluetooth. I have to make it make sense in my head before I say it. It's not the, I was going to say it's not the Bluetooth that you require for the all-in-one sensors, but yeah, it's that one's just for getting your app set up on it, using the app. I don't believe that works with the all-in-one sensors. I'm happy to be corrected, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't. Thanks. I had a consultant that could not get it to work. I thought it should. Yeah, I would have thought as well, but yeah, reach out to me if you want, and we'll try and get to the bottom of it. The reason I'm thinking about swapping Fortinet is mainly the issue with handoff on Unify. We swapped one floor with Fortinet. That issue has gone. Okay, interesting. Well, it depends what works for your scenario, right? If you feel Fortinet is the one for you, then yeah, I mean, feel free to switch over. It just depends what's going to work for you. If you are having issues with handoff, definitely update to 10.1 and have a look at what's going on, because there's some good features in there. But the other thing is do try and get that log with Ubiquiti so they can take a look at that. So if there is someone else that's facing the issue, or there's some other people that are having something similar, you might get a response in that way, or they might look to implement a fix if it is fixable, or if it is actually an issue. Bear with me. Cool. I think what time are we at? We're at 9 o'clock, right? Or it's past 9 already. Okay. Anyway, just ask Unify support the Unify Dream Router to support Blur, which is used for the initial setup and discuss. Yeah. So I didn't see that before I answered your question, but yeah, that is the case. I understand the doorbell being delayed is due to the RAM, but it seems coincidental that the glass break sensor is also delayed the same. Do all their products use the same RAM? I have never really opened up the products to see what's under the hood, and never really deep dive into that side of it, so I couldn't say if it does. Generally, I don't even say generally. I couldn't say what the reason is for the delay for the glass break. There could even be something software related. The main question is why the glass break detector is advertised as coming soon for months, but not other previously announced. I couldn't give you an answer for that one. I wish I could, but I don't know. Maybe those ones are a little bit more further ahead in terms of development. Maybe the other ones. One thing I can just think of the top of my head is like the smoke detector, for example, which may eventually come, or which should eventually come. They have to go through so many hoops in terms of regulations, and there might be a slight tweak in the way it looks or the way it is. So they don't want to advertise that on their website. I guess they want that to be the finished product, what it's going to look like before they release it. That's just my speculation. That's not something official from Ubiquiti, but yeah. I like Unify very much. We'd rather use that instead of Fortinet, but it's more about the business case. Yeah, no, I fully appreciate what you're saying. And if it is an issue, I definitely would try and get that, try and get Ubiquiti to look at that for sure. Definitely. Again, yes, the UP Sense will work with the UDR7. Just confirm with Unify support. Okay, fine. I stand corrected then. Yeah, if that is going to work from there, then fine, great. I mean, that kind of solves your case, right? But I think I am going to call it a day there. Thank you all very much for joining me this evening. And yeah, if there is something new to talk about next week, I'll probably jump on a live stream midweek. But if there isn't, I will talk to you all next weekend on Sunday around same time. So enjoy the rest of your weekend and the rest of your week.